What's good, everybody? What's good? Welcome back to the Buckeye Sports Talk with B. Moses podcast, partnering with the great people over at the Buckeye Scoop, talking about this Rutgers sleepwalk 49-10 Rutgers victory with a little pizzazz and flavor at the end. Listen, I got like 3 or 4 different chats I do during the games. And we were all talking like, man, what is like these dudes is out here just yawning, like they look so disinterested. It all started with that muff punt by Ibuka, though. Let's be real. That kind of was just like, what are we doing? Now listen, Ibuka been doing that. That's not his first time doing an over the shoulder catch, but it kind of finally bit him this time, especially with the little bit of the wind swirling out there. So I wonder what adjustments they're gonna do. Now listen, a few weeks ago, when he was interviewed, he was talking about how they were moving him up further to adjust because punts were going over his head. So now they're going to have to adjust again because we can't keep having these scary moments. It's okay against Rutgers, but you can't do that on the road against Penn State. So with that said, listen, this game was very, very weird. Like I said, our guys looked like they came out there kind of with a meh, sleepwalking. CJ Stroud looked disinterested. He looked almost annoyed. Remember the press conference? He said, unless you're complete bums. He probably was talking about Rutgers. Listen, we knew he was going to win this game. My only wish before this game, as you saw in my last video, is can we play clean, disciplined, no injuries? Well, we didn't play completely clean. We didn't play horrible, but it wasn't completely clean. And I would say the competitive stamina bar was shaky as far as going out and just executing. I don't care if it's Rutgers. Let's be clean. Let's be disciplined and wipe them out. Get the second strings and the backups in ASAP. Going back to CJ Stroud, though, he looked almost annoyed out there and disinterested. And he explained that interception in the press conference and broke it down and all that, and just kept reiterating that he doesn't care about stats and stuff like that, which is cool. And listen, I'm not overreacting. I mean, it's Rutgers. We knew he was going to win and all that, but it was just like, dang, man, these dudes. This is kind of like this is literally like a scrimmage. That's kind of how it felt, But Miyan Williams, he came in and really added some flavor to the game. And I wish they would have gave him that 6 TD. I wish they would have gave him an opportunity to try to break that record, but I get it. I mean, you don't want to force things, but man, that would have been so dope for him to be able to get 6 TDs. I believe he was tied with Keith Byers and Pete Johnson, I think. So yeah, Miyan went off. Miyan is showing. He's continuing to show improved vision. That was my slight critique about him last year, is better vision, getting up north quicker instead of trying to go east-west and bounce it out. He is doing a much better job of having the vision to go north, but be shifty enough to get past the second level. And the big fella showed a little bit of speed on that breakaway run for that touchdown. But yeah, shout out to Miyan Williams for really, really just showing up and carrying the load. I mean, listen, I'm not down on Henderson at all. To me, all this is doing is solidifying that we have great depth, a nice dynamic 1-2 punch. Henderson just has to stay healthy. Speaking of Henderson, and I'm gonna kind of slide right into this injury thing I wanted to touch on, is that I know a lot of people. From what I've seen on the boards and just social media and whatever, even on my page, my Facebook page, they're concerned about injuries and is our training staff dropping the ball? Like, what's going on? Now, let me say this. Yes, the injuries have been alarming, but keep this in mind. Henderson, for example, yesterday, if we were playing in the Big Ten title game, Henderson would have played. I believe a good amount of these injuries from time to time are more precaution, are more why play him in this game? We don't need him to win this game. Give him more rest type of situations. I believe that's exactly what happened with Henderson yesterday. Not yesterday, but on Saturday. So I think the goal really for Ryan Day and his team is, listen, let's get healthy. We got at Michigan State, which I believe is going to be another bloodbath, and we got our bye week, and then we got Iowa, right? And we got Penn State, I believe. So we're trying to ramp up and get healthy for the stretch run. In my opinion, the stretch run starts, you could argue Iowa, but I'm saying it's Penn State on the road and in a tough environment. But the injuries, I don't want to. It's annoying. It's concerning. But at the end of the day, we just want our guys as healthy as possible for the stretch run, period. So that's kind of how I see it, with that whole situation. But it was good to see Miyan Williams get in there and fill that number one back row and carry that load. He only had 21 carries, but there was no slowing him down. And Henderson, he's going to pop. He's going to pop. It's going to happen. And it matters when we're down the stretch in the big games, playoffs, Big Ten title game. We need this team to come together more so around that time than now. And so that's kind of what I've been waiting on myself. And that's why I've had a little bit of patience in that regard. But yo, listen, I'll just highlight a few things before I get to this Ryan Day and Schiano stuff. So Chambers, listen, my critique of him the past few weeks has been, man, he's in position, but these tackles are slipping away from him. I don't know if y'all noticed. It was like he's not. My dude Mike Patterson, former linebacker, he mentioned like how he's not. He's like leaving his feet. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to tackle without bringing his feet, I think is the term, without bringing his feet. And it's just like you constantly see him like tackling and the guy slipping through his arms and taking off. Well, he didn't really let that happen against Rutgers. He was bringing his feet, and he was not only in position, but he was hitting, and he made sure them dudes was going down. He was all over the place. And so Eichenberg has been doing that consistently. If we can get Chambers to continue to do that, not just be in position, but bring the guy down consistently. And again, it's nitpicky because Chambers has played well. Don't get me wrong. He's played well. But tighten that tackling up, boy, them linebackers, man. Linebackers went from trash to okay. You know what I mean? So that was very nice to see. Zach Harrison sighting. We got some Zach Harrison sightings. Man, he played well. Listen, here's the bottom line. Our expectations were very, very, very high for Zach Harrison. We got to be honest with ourselves. We had Chase Young eyes. Chase Young, right? That was kind of Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa. I don't think he was ever that dude in hindsight. He was an athletic freak, but he was very raw when it came to actual pass rush skills, right? You know, he went to high school here in Olatunji. I believe Orange. Yeah, it was Orange. And he never really showed raw, like just, you know, the skills that you may have, like a Nick Bosa may have, a Chase Young may have out of high school. But he's breaking. He had a pass breakup, or a tip pass. What else did he do? Yeah, he had a forced fumble. He's been more in position this year. Remember last year, even in the Oregon game, like it's like, dude, why aren't you setting the edge? I mean, it was just simple stuff like, what is going on? It's one thing if you're not getting sacks and not getting consistent pressure, but it's another thing if you're not even doing the little things. Well, to me, so far this year, he's been doing the little things and more. And he was lined up at the D tackle position in that with that tip pass. And he was there quite a few times in the rushman package. And I like that look, man. I think Larry Johnson in the defense, they're going to be looking at film, and I think they're really going to like what they saw from that package, especially from Zach lined up at the tackle position, being able to wreak some havoc with his size, length, matched up against the guard. I think that's something that's going to stick. One other thing I wanted to touch on about the defense. My concern level is climbing, y'all, with Denzel Burke. I'm getting more and more concerned with Denzel Burke, y'all. I've been patient. I've been trying to, I've thought about other corners like, man, Garyon Conley and just corners who kind of started off slow. and just needed some coaching and just needed to shake it off, my concern level is increasing. I don't know what's going on with Denzel, man. I believe it's all in his mind, though, because logically it does not make sense for him to ball out like he did last year as a true freshman, pretty much all season, showing technique, showing the ability to turn his head around and play the 50-50 ball pretty well as a true freshman last year. But this year he looks completely lost. He looks lost. He looks like he's just unsure. He doesn't have confidence. Like, what happened, man? Did he read his press clippings? Because on broadcast, you heard, the Herb Streets and those saying, Ohio State believes he's the next one, the next first-round corner. Did he hear that and begin to kind of internalize that? And now it's kind of manifesting in a way on the field. This is like, man, I don't know. I'm speculating. All I know is it's very, very concerning. And this is Rutgers, y'all. This is Rutgers. You should eat against Rutgers. And so that concerns me. As far as the injury front goes, circling back to that, how soon can we get Hancock back? Can we get Hancock back after the bye week? Can we get Jair Brown some more reps? Ryan Turner, who looked good on a corner blitz. I know it's a corner blitz. He's not in coverage, but I'm saying, y'all, we gotta get this corner situation tightened up for this stretch run, because every other position has been solid. Corner hasn't been utter garbage overall, but we've had some injuries. Cam Brown has been good. But, man, listen, man, we got to get this corner position solidified, and I don't know what's up with Denzel Burke. I don't know if he needs prayer, intervention, and I'm not being funny. I'm dead serious. Like, something's going on up here, man, and he has talent. We've seen the talent. What's going on, man? So definitely going to keep our eyes on that and hoping that he can turn the corner and at least be solid. He don't got to be the future first rounder. Just be solid. You know what I mean? That's what we need from you. So, yo, listen. The Greg Schiano and Ryan Day thing was like a nice little treat at the end of a game that seemed like took forever. Like I said, at times was boring. And I did not expect to see that. And listen, what was funny is I like to make memes. If y'all haven't seen, I make memes and, funny memes, all types of memes, but especially Buckeye memes. So I had made the meme, the Ryan Day meme with the Caesar with the thumbs down. I had that already kind of like in the hopper, with the anticipation that we would bloodbath them or blow them out. So after the fake punt, which was not a fake punt, I posted it, with a caption like, "Let's go, Ryan Day." Because listen, in the last video, I warned that there was going to be trick plays based off of just the recent history. And or like an onside kick in the first quarter. And that's exactly what we saw. So when I saw Mirko take off, in my mind, I'm thinking like, well, shoot, Ryan Day savage. And he's like, man, screw all that. Like, go for it. But as I collected myself, like, okay, rugby style punt, that's the read. There was nobody over there, but I was just excited to post my meme, which has been getting a lot of hits, by the way, and a lot of shares. But yeah, obviously the Crunkshank hit on the sideline was ridiculous and stupid. But Schiano, man, I know they're playing nice and their boys and all that other stuff. Oh, it's no big deal, but Schiano had no business running all across the field. You can say he was trying to defend his players. That's fine. But just for that moment, seeing Ryan Day and Schiano go back and forth like that, like they was about to square up for real and get it in with them hands on the field, that was just hilarious. That was a nice little treat at the end of the game. And but no, Ryan Day did not call that fake punch, y'all. He didn't call that. That's a read by the rugby player, the rugby style kicker. If there's no contain on that side and you see an opening, you take it. Usually there's a contain, but they rushed the punter. They tried to block the punt. That's the other thing, is why are you trying to block the punt this late in the game and you know it's over? See, that's what I'm saying about Schiano, man. You want to get pissed off at Ryan Day? Like, come on, dude. Like, come on. Even if Ryan Day did call that, you can't call him classless. First of all, it's football. Play football. And what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Ain't that what they say in the O saying? The point is, Schiano want to do trick plays, onside kicks in the first quarter, try to block the punt when you know it's a bloodbath and it's a wrap. And you want to get mad because the punter takes off? Nah, man, you can't have it. You can't have it both ways. So anyway, nice little entertaining treat at the end of the game that I was weak in laughter about. I had a good time on social media. I must be honest with y'all. So anyway, going on the road finally to Michigan State. Watching Ryan Day in the press conference after the game, he seemed kind of happy about it. Like, think about it. Rutgers is a boring team that we know we're gonna beat, and it was our 5th straight home game. The redundancy. We haven't had this many home games in a row in a long time, if ever. I don't know the history completely, but I know since I've been alive, I can't recall that. So now you're breaking up that redundancy. You're going on the road to a Michigan State team that we should handle. It helps to kind of refocus your guys to not be disinterested and not look bored. And listen, that's an outlier. I don't think it's going to be an issue down the line, especially with some of these games we have coming up. But going on the road against a Michigan State team who you know is going to try to be scrappy and fight you, and all, it's good to get the guys focused, knowing that, hey, we got to go on the road now. You know what I mean? So definitely looking forward to that. I think we're going to throw the ball a lot against that porous secondary. Why not? And what I believe is going to happen is we're going to attack their secondary and set up the run that way. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, depending on what Mel Tucker does on defense, a lot of these defenses have been bringing the 2 high safeties all year, trying to, put a cap on our deep throw and all that and make us take underneath stuff, which is fine. CJ, he knows what to do. He just needs to be patient, not force things, stuff like that. And he'll be fine. But I'm going to be curious to see what Mel Tucker throws at us to try to, muddy the waters. But either way, we'll figure it out and we'll handle business. So I'm very excited actually about going on the road for the first time to kind of break up the redundancy of 5 straight home games. All right, I'm gonna hit some national things real quick. So I like that Joe Klatt and Kirk Herbstreit, if you saw their recent top 10s, they finally said enough is enough with Georgia struggling with these bum or subpar teams. They both have Ohio State number 1. Now listen, I know it doesn't matter. The AP poll is crap. Nothing matters until this college football playoff committee drops their top 25. But in the meantime, it's all banter. It's all message board banter. It's discussion, right? But you can't struggle with Kent State and then be on the ropes against a not good. Don't try to play me, SEC fans. Missouri is not good. All right? They lost to Kansas State. Kansas State lost to Tulane. They're not good, right? So the struggling against Kent State and then almost getting taken out by Missouri, you got to drop, man. You got to drop, right? So it just kind of gave me a little smirk because I noticed I was reading the Twitter comments and people was already triggered. Georgia fans already triggered. Who was Ohio State play? Dude, you struggled against Kent State and Missouri. We're not saying you're a bad team, but you can't keep struggling against bums and not expect to drop. If that was Ohio State, we'd be dropped to number 8 or something goofy like that because that's just what they do. But again, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, but it's still fun to see Klatt and Herbstreit, kind of get at the SEC a little bit with their subpar performances, against weak competition. So real quick, y'all all heard the news, I'm sure. Paul Chryst fired by Wisconsin. The bloodbath in the shoe, was one thing that's kind of forgivable, frustrating. You want to compete more, but forgivable. But getting dog walked by Illinois at the crib, by your former coach who left you at the altar, so to speak. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. So, you could argue it's an overreaction. You can argue that. But, I mean, Wisconsin may not be Ohio State, Alabama, but they got standards too, right? I guess. And I guess they said enough is enough. The question is Jim Leonhard going to be plugged in or do they want to move on? Because they're going to lose a really good D coordinator if they do. But maybe they say, hey, fine, we'll get another one. Either way, It's going to be interesting to see who they replace with him. Somebody asked me on my page, Levi Gibson on my Facebook page. Here's my answer to Urban Meyer going there. No, absolutely no, brother. Urban Meyer has made it pretty clear that he's not going to any program where it's going to be an uphill battle to recruit. And Wisconsin is one of those programs. Recruit to his standard. You know what I mean? Wisconsin's a great program. Don't get me wrong, Badger fans. But Urban ain't going there. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see who they go after in the coaching search and all that. If it's not Jim Leonhard. So yeah, I mean, listen, that's all for me for today. I can keep going with a lot of other thoughts, but I'm gonna stop right there. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Buckeye Scoop YouTube and podcast platforms. That's where all my videos will be uploaded. You can also find me at Buckeye Sports Talk with B Moses on Facebook. It's really live there at that page. A lot of great discussion and a really good following. Same on IG, same thing. And then B Moses 30 on Twitter is where you can find me there as well. All right, get at me. Go Bucks.